Hello everyone. Controlling people is and will probably always be a popular and attractive idea. Having the ability to control other humans can lead to wealth, prestige, and power, so it is easy to see why everyone wants to know how to manipulate one another. Given the depth of this topic, I've decided to make a 3-part series. In each part, I will explain how one of 3 psychological motives can make people more susceptible to being controlled. So let's get started. In this video, we will be discussing one of the most basic aspects of human behavior, that people seek pleasure over pain. While seemingly obvious, people tend to underestimate exactly how powerful this motive can be in changing humans' behaviors. For example, in 1992, Singapore banned chewing gum in an effort to create a more clean environment. The punishment for not obeying this ban was a couple years in prison and a hefty fine. While the chewing gum rule is not nearly as strict today as it was when it was initially implemented, overall gum chewing in Singapore has fallen significantly since that rule was made. When weighing the options between the pleasure of chewing gum and the pain of paying a hefty fine and years in prison, Singaporeans decided that obeying the rule would lead to more pleasure in their life. New rules changing people's behavior can also be seen in Massachusetts' 2006 law that punished speeding drivers under the age of 18 with a loss of their license for 90 days, a $500 fine, 2 4-hour classes, and a retake of the driver's exam. This was a big punishment for a common problem, and it was unclear if it would work. Believe it or not, the number of fatal accidents involving drivers under the age of 18 dropped 75% in the following 3 years. Teens did not want to be screwed over by the law, so they stopped speeding as much, which led to fewer fatalities and Massachusetts lawmakers getting their wish. Now, am I advocating for stricter, more authoritarian laws in order to ensure that people do what higher powers tell them to do? No, I'm not. I'm simply illustrating how those who establish painful consequences can manipulate people to do what they want with those people's own free will via their tendency to seek pleasure. Powerful stuff. But there are a few exceptions to the psychological motivation of pleasure over pain. For one thing, it can backfire. In one study by Leper Green and Nisbet, children were given markers to draw. Some of the kids were rewarded with a Good Player Award, while the others were not given any reward. All of the children returned the next day to play with the markers again, except this time there were no rewards given. They found that the children who were rewarded the previous day drew less than those who weren't rewarded. Simply put, the previously rewarded children associated drawing with the Good Player Award, and without the reward, they didn't have a real incentive to draw. They lost interest. People also hate it when they know they're being manipulated. In a study by Pennebaker and Sanders, researchers put signs in 2 bathrooms on a college campus, one saying, "Please don't write on these walls," and the other saying, "Do not write on these walls under any circumstances." I think you all can probably imagine what happened next. When the researchers checked the bathrooms a couple weeks later, they found that the bathroom with a sign that said, "Do not write on these walls under any circumstances," had more graffiti on the walls than the other bathroom. This is probably due to the fact that the sign was more demanding and students wanted to resist the message. So, if you're going to control someone to do what you want them to do through pain and pleasure, I think you can take away this. Make sure that what you want the person to do is inherently pleasurable to that person, whether that's through rewarding them or punishing them if they do things you don't want them to do. Also, if you do reward that person, make sure that it is sustainable. Ensure that your reward isn't the only reason they are doing the thing you want them to do unless you have an unlimited amount of rewards. Lastly, don't make it obvious you're manipulating them or else that will backfire. People don't like being manipulated, believe it or not. Well, I hope you had fun with this video. I certainly did. If you want to check out parts 2 and 3, I'll link to those in the description when those come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.